Some really big news to talk about now. I need to read this. This was sent to me. This is being published in the morning in the Times by Matt Ziegler. It says here that Manchester United have come under intense scrutiny following allegations of financial misconduct, casting a shadow not over their current rebuild, but even their storied legacy. The accusation, if sustained, could lead to severe repercussions, including fines, sanctions, and tarnish of reputation that will take several years to rebuild. Such developments not only undermine the integrity of the sport, but also erode the trust of their millions of fans around the world. Amidst this turmoil, it is worth noting that while some clubs may face, other clubs have faced allegation for financial misconduct, what Man United are accused of is considered much worse. Man United signings of Chido, Obi, and Heaven from Arsenal for a combined fee of £1.6 million has been lauded as the biggest heist since the Hatton Street Garden jewelry robbery during the Easter of 2004. So Man United are under severe allegations of financial fraud, misconduct, and robbery for stealing 2 gems from Arsenal for £1.6 million, who are valued somewhere much more than that. So what do you guys make of that? Should Man United be punished for robbing Arsenal of Heaven and Chido Obi for just £1.6 million?
Doesn't have to go through like a whole actual thing of like arbitration stuff before, and why did now change it? Did they not agree a fee with Arsenal then?
You do understand it's a fucking joke, right?
Yes.
You do understand the joke?
Yeah.
It's not real.
But like, where are we even trying to go with this though? Like, yeah.
What we're saying is 1.6 million. Listen, I'm talking about Aiden Heaven. How good is this young man for £800,000, 18 years of age, starting in big European games? I feel like Man United have robbed Arsenal.
It's one of them ones where it's hard, right? Because he's a good player. Anyone that says he ain't a good player, he was playing. There's a reason he got brought on the preseason tour and actually played against United preseason, and he looked pretty decent when we were playing preseason. The fact of the matter is, it's a bit hard right now because that's a very hard position for us to keep a player in. Like, definitely that sort of young player that wants to play, because let's be real, as long as we have Saliba and Gabriel both pretty young at the club, you're just not getting in. Like, you have to be like a high level, yeah, to get in above Saliba or Gabriel. So like, there's
loaned him out though.
I don't think he wanted that. I think that if Man United are coming and telling him we've got a place for you in our starting 11, we play 3 centre backs, for example, and show him a pathway where, like he's already doing and playing in the team, I just don't think the loan he would have accepted it, to be honest, because he could go on loan and he's still. I'm sorry, Saliba signs a new contract, Gabriel signs a new contract. He can go on loan all he wants. He just won't be a starting centre back.
The likes of Kivior, Tomiyasu.
Yeah, but once again,
I feel like probably lost a gem there.
We have. Once again, I'm not saying we haven't lost a good player, but this is what happens sometimes when your team starts elevating. Not even to try and blow my own trumpet, but the defense of Arsenal is the key of, like, the big thing of Arsenal. Yeah, the best part of Arsenal really is our defense. So it's like, that's why you lose these players. That's why City lose so many ballers and they go somewhere else and they start balling out, because they just can't guarantee these guys.
Just Seppi, don't you think that Arsenal should find a way? So if you take Liverpool, for example, they've got 7 academy players in their squad who are part of their squad rotation, and Liverpool are about to win the league. They're in multiple cup competitions, or were, just like Arsenal were. So if Liverpool can do it, why aren't Arsenal?
Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't think that we said that to Heaven before he left, then you're crazy. We definitely said that, but he's obviously had Man United come to him and said, look, we want you in our starting 11. We want you to be one of our main centre-backs. You can't say that to him at Arsenal.
At 18.
It doesn't matter about the age. Saliba was like 18, 19 when he came into us.
Right? Let me ask you, right? Kivior is obviously older at 25, but Kivior played 17 games this season.
Yeah.
I've watched Kivior play for Arsenal. I've watched every single Arsenal game this season. I don't think there is a. I don't think it's a mad. No, I don't think it's a mad take to say Heaven is as good as him right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny.
So my again, there'll be some. Of course, Heaven is going to make some mistakes. He's 18. There's no doubt about that. He's been brilliant these first 3 games. I'm not saying he's flawless. I'm not saying he doesn't have to learn a lot. But actually, I have a pretty strict rule when it comes to young players. I generally feel, and you make mistakes every now and then. I didn't see enough in Ahmad when I first watched him at United, and I got that wrong. But by and large, I think you can see in the first 3, 4, 5 games a young player plays, whether or not they've got the ability to make it at the highest level. You saw that with Mainu straight away as a prime example. You saw it with Saka. You've seen it with Skelly this season, Ethan Waneri. You think about Lewis Miley at Newcastle, Mickey Moore that comes on, Curtis Jones when he broke into the Liverpool team. You look at Palmer as an example. You certain youngsters, you see them and you go, they're raw, but you go, yep, there's a player there. Yeah. And watching these 3 games of Heaven, and you're talking about coming on in a cup tie we were losing, coming on against Arsenal, his former team, for his Premier League debut when we're under the cosh, and then starting a gilt-edged European game. And he's done brilliantly well. And I don't think he's perfect, but I do look at this and just think, you've got Kiwior there that none of you want. You all want gone. You've had great success with Ethan Waneri, great success with Skelly, great success with Saka. I just feel like you've dropped a little bit of a ball. If you'd have given him those 17 games this season, he'd still be an Arsenal player. Now, I'm grateful because we have hemorrhaged money on players for years. But to get him for 800,000, 900,000 pounds, I can't lie. I am absolutely buzzing because there is the potential that over the next 4 or 5 years, he saves us 50, 60, 70 million pounds in the transfer window now that we can spend elsewhere. So I just want to thank Arsenal for him. And I think young Obi as well is going to be a bit of a player. So thank you, Arsenal Football Club, and thank you, Hale End.
It's
you're scary.
Well, Hale End, Obi Martin's a bit of a push with Hale End, but yeah, listen. At the end of the day, it's a great coup for Man United to get him. I just don't. Man United are still a big team, right? They've still got Paul. There's still whatever you like. I don't know enough about Heaven. He might have been a United fan when he was young. I don't know, So it's like one of them ones where Man United have sold him their thoughts on him and what they think going forward with him, and probably offered him a bit more money. That's always a great little addition on top. I'm not saying he left for money at all, but I'm just saying that on top of getting a good pathway from Man United, it will sway you. He's been at Arsenal for 5 years. He joined in 2020, so he hasn't been there stupid amounts of time. He hasn't been at Arsenal from the age of 6, 7. He's been 13. At Arsenal since the age of 13, which is a little bit older. It is that little bit older when you've joined. And yeah, it's the same with Obi Martin. Obi Martin was at Arsenal for 2 years before.
Yeah, in your academy, academy.
Yeah, we signed him from abroad. He was 2 years, and then he's gone to Man United. So Obi Martin had no loyalty to Arsenal. 2 years, that's not really a thing. So listen, we should have tried to keep him, and I think we did try to keep him. I just don't know. I think Man United probably offered them a better.
And I'd say, I think what I'm trying to say is that loyalty is a two-way thing, isn't it? If Obi's getting no games and there's no rotation between him and Havertz, for instance, you have to ask yourself why.
When did you want Obi that to happen with Obi? I'm sorry, the guy's how old now? 16. Last year he was 15. He went at the beginning of the season, bruv. He didn't even give this season a try. He might have been playing with all these injuries. Obi Martin might have been our starting striker this season.
Yeah, but
look at Waneri and that. You don't know. That was last season,
question, though, isn't it? Because
Heaven,
it's not the first Arsenal player to go.
Yeah, but listen, but then once again,
they're not concerned about the pathway though. Because if these players are going to get opportunities elsewhere,
I've watched two of the best young players in the league this season come play for Arsenal right now, and they've got into the team. Yeah, two. Yeah, well, would you expect when you're competing for leagues? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The last few seasons we've been competing for the Premier League, right? When you do compete for the Premier League, there's only so much you can do for putting these youngsters in, right? We've gone out early in cups, yes, whatever. It's not easy to always get these youngsters in. They've got to have a bit of patience. Some do, some don't. Yeah, look, the same way people say they left, every club, yeah, and their auntie wanted Ethan Waneri, and he's stuck at Arsenal. Yeah, and he stayed at Arsenal, and now look at him. He's playing well, and now that's it. He's going to be in and around the team.
Playing because Saka's not there. We just made the example.
No,
of,
but
of-
that's a
Yeah.
lie because he was already there sniffing around before that. Like,
It's
do you know
not
what I
like
mean?
because Saka's not playing. Saka's literally injured right now.
And that's why he's
Under
getting
is
as
playing.
much game time. Yes, but he was already on the bench. He was already there. They got brought to preseason. Heaven as well brought to preseason with the first team. Like, you can't just listen. What do you want us to do? Play Heaven like over Saliba or Gabriel?
No, you're saying your argument is
no one's saying that, but I
Yeah.
think I think the issue with Arsenal, because by the way, this is not just Arsenal. I think it's the same problem with Chelsea, and Chelsea are going to have the same problem with some of their academy players. What they had it with that Engamoa who joined us because there's no pathway. If your club has senior players in every position as the backups, these young players will go, what's the point? There has to be certain areas of the squad where you allow for your academy to have the opportunity to take that position. I look at Arsenal right back.
Yeah. Thomas Partey was playing there.
Why Takahiro Tomiyasu was still at that football club. And he is, whether you like it or not, still seen as a senior option at the football club. So then any young right backs going, there's Ben White, there's Yuri Timber, there's Tomiyasu, and then there's Thomas Partey, all ahead of me right now. And who's not to say they won't buy another player? Because, as you said yourself, Lewis Skelly stepped up this year. Brilliant. Why did you just go and buy a left back in the summer? Because you've now just added another left back option there. So
there ain't that many left back options at Arsenal. That here's the thing, right?
Yuri and Timber, Calafiori, Zinchenko, fucking Kivior has played there at points. That's four options who at the start of the season seem to be ahead of these academy players. This is my.
But then these guys have to look at it. These guys need to look at it and say, but with all that as well. Lewis Skelly's still got in the team. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Yeah, and I hear you to an extent. I do get you. Yeah, but we're desperate for a league. We're desperate for a big trophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where the risks are a bit harder for us to take right now.
But you're not Man City, so stop trying to do it the Man City way of having a squad full of bought players. The only other teams who have won a league title in the last couple of years is us. And if you look at our squad this year, I'm just going to use this year as the example. You've got 2 academy kids at right back. You've got an academy kid at centre back. You've got 2 academy kids in the midfield. And you've got an academy kid as a goalie as well. That's 6 players who play a lot of football in the Premier League. Well, Harvey hasn't, but he has done in years gone by. Who play a lot of football in the Premier League. Who came through who played parts in the academy system and then got their opportunities in the first team. That's 6. I look at Arsenal, and as you said, you've got Saka, you've got Lewis Skelly, you've got Waneri. Am I missing anyone?
We've got the right back, but he's obviously they're young, isn't it? Like some of the ones that we've got coming through. Look, we've got I just don't want to butcher his name.
Didn't you get debuts to like Jaden Dans and players like that, and then you won the League Cup?
Young lads have got
players on the pitch.
And even then, you know what? If you want to go the way of buying these players, Liverpool and Arsenal have a similar model, which for all intents and purposes, you're a little bit more risk taking than ours. But how do we fund these models, Giuseppe? Through sales mostly. Do you know how much we've made off academy sales in the last 5 years? We make so much money off selling academy players because you give them an opportunity and everyone goes, oh my God, they're playing for a top team. They must be good. And then you go, well, they're not really, but we can flog them for 15 million, 20 million. And some of them do work out and go on to have good careers, but the rest of them don't. And you pocket that money and you can go spend it in positions where you don't have the young players ready to step up.
Here's the thing as well. Like, obviously, we don't know the ins and outs. I was reading a few things with Heaven as well. That was like, he wants to play in midfield. He don't want to be a centre back. Obviously, he's got Man United now and anything, but we don't know what Man United have promised him in the long term, etc. Like compared to like us of him being in the midfield. We've got a few other youngsters that obviously we might be focusing more on. We've got obviously that Nicholas. It's Joshua Nicholas. He's the right back. Looks really good. He's tidy. He's young. He played pre-season and that. Hopefully he's someone that could come through. Obviously we've got that young midfielder that's just like ripping it right now.
Max Bauman. He's just got a call up, hasn't
he? Yeah, just got a call up, and
he lives like 20 minutes from me.
And like this, what I mean, you can't keep and you can't promise these things to every player. Yeah, say for example, right? He's like Arteta said, like, all right, cool, look, Joshua, you're going to be the right back, the next right back option, obviously, as a youngster. And Skelly, and the same with Skelly. Yeah, and the same with Skelly. You can't then do that with the centre backs as well. You can't have too many youngsters. Like, do you get what I mean?
No, but
you,
I think
you are going to lose some.
Listen,
I'm going to do this because to be honest, listen, they're great players that have gone. It happens. This happens to every top team. It's just been highlighted at Arsenal right now.
You're over. I think you're over-egging it. We're not saying you have to have in every position. Your first opening argument was that you're a top team, and that's why these. Well, Liverpool are a couple levels above you, and they've got 7 academy players in their team that's part of winning trophies, and is about to win the Premier League.
Where's their academy young centre back? Who have you got? I don't know, Tom. Maybe you have.
He just said. He said. He's got 7. They've got 7 academy players in their squad. Right,
I can list them again if you want. Kelleher, Connor Bradley, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jarell Quansah, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott. So that's 6. We got 6 of them who play regular Premier League minutes.
Is Kelleher? What about Kelleher?
Yeah, Kelleher came through. Yeah. So he's the backup keeper, isn't he? And we're not saying that you should be.
A couple of them names that you're pushing at. Come on. Couple of them names that you're pushing out.
In what way, Giuseppe?
In the sense of like, in the sense of like, all right, cool, Trent. Yeah, you're saying Trent.
I gave you Saka. If we can discard Trent and Saka if we want.
Yeah, but what I'm basically trying to say is, we're forgetting that Manchester United have pull on these players. Like we're talking we don't. Players can't just choose to leave a club, even if there is a pathway. Like
playtime helps.
No,
are you just saying, man? I do. Maybe I agree with that. We are just a more prestigious and more attractive club. I agree.
Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Can I say something? Like for an example, this is all hypothetical. We don't know anything. Yeah, he might sit there and look at Saliba and Gabriel and say there is no chance in hell I'm playing for this team in centre back anytime soon. Yeah, he might then look at Manchester United that are giving him a great offer, a great opportunity. They've come for him. They say, we want you. We're going to pay you more than Arsenal will pay you. You come here. We've got great facilities. We're a good club. And he might look at it and say, you know what? I fancy myself to actually get right into that centre-back thing because I think I'm currently better than what they've got.
You might have done. But I just went back to the Carabao Cup 3rd round this season, which is, the Carabao Cup scene is the cup to give the youngsters opportunities. And I went to have a look. You played Bolton in the 3rd round. And you played the young lad in goal because Nessa was cup tied. Still the stupidest decision I've seen getting a goalkeeper.
The worst decision. Worst summer. It's just the worst.
But then I went to look at your centre backs and you played Kivior and Calafiori, and Aidan Heaven was left on the bench. Now, to me, I would have that's a game where if you'd started Aidan Heaven and he knows that, look, I'm 4th choice centre back, maybe 5th choice for the year, whilst he can't get rid of Kivior. But I know that the manager values me, gives me opportunities. If next year Kivior goes and I move up to 4th choice, why would I not want to stay in front of place?
And at Man United, in fairness, if Yoro and Lissandro Martinez and Maguire hadn't all picked up injuries, he wouldn't have been playing these few games as well. So I don't think he's come to Man United and they've told him you're third. We play with 3 centre backs, right? So you can be 3rd choice and you're going to play regularly, right? So I don't think they've told him you're going to be 3rd, 4th choice like straight away. But what I think he has done, he's gone somewhere, listen, that historically has a very good pathway for players. He's taken his opportunity. And what I will say, all aside from Arsenal making mistakes or not, is I've been very, very impressed with the young man. I just wanted to take some time on the Top 6 show to call him out and praise him and just say, well done. Keep your feet on the floor, young man. And listen, you could become a very, very important player at the biggest football club in England.